just want to start out by saying that it's incredible that there's a document like this. I mean, just on a personal basis. You know, I had that haircut growing up. You know, I went through a lot of the stuff that you did. I played piano, was terrible at it. What was it like when you first saw the story roll out? Not living it, but actually just watching it on screen. What did you feel as, you know, like an Asian American guy looking at almost like from a third party perspective at the story and what it means to you?
The first time I saw the rough cut, I loved it. I just thought it was awesome. Because you spend so much time, we spent, you know, years filming, and I had never seen anything in terms of like the film. All I knew was that we would just continue to pile up footage, and to see it all thrown into one piece, I was just in shock.
Were you, I mean, obviously, again, you lived the story, but the fact that it sort of lined up so neatly, I mean, every time it seemed, you said it yourself, like you were getting to a point where, you know, you needed your pride checked or something. Something would happen, a new chapter would begin. Was that something, I mean, I'm kind of reminded of like, you know, the story of Job or something, you know? Was that something that, you know, you had to actually, you know, in each of those chapters, had to think through and try to figure out how to find that new confidence and faith?
Definitely. The way everything turned out, the way everything worked out, it couldn't have been drawn up any other way. It was just such a unbelievable story with the fairy tale ending, and I think for me, God really taught me so many different things in so many different areas, so many different lessons in so many different chapters of my life. And, like I could go on and just tell you example after example after example of things that, you know, happened that really contributed to the story, really important, that, you know, might be overlooked. You know, for example, like me going to summer league. I only had one offer from all the summer league teams, and it was from Donnie Nelson, and I had, you know, I had lunch with him, and he's a believer as well, and he talked to me, he called me and told me about how God has a perfect plan, even though I didn't get drafted, and so, you know, if I never got that invite, I would never have made it to the NBA in the first place. And so there's so many little stories like that get overlooked, but when I look back, I realized God really had his hand in every little part of the story.
It's really kind of an incredible witness, and I'll tell you, I mean, my parents' church group, they are just addicted. I mean, they're obsessive. They even, you know, have gotten like internet plans and so forth so they can watch you regularly, and they gather in groups. It's a multi-generational thing, and I wonder, how do you feel about when you're dealing with people of that generation? I mean, who clearly see you as almost like the ideal of what?
Yeah, it's a little weird. It's really cool because you know, they care so much, but then also I kind of get put on this pedestal where I'm like this perfect person, which I'm far from. But I really do appreciate their support, and you know, it does mean a lot. And like you said, it's multi-generational, and I'm shocked that people of all different ages, and races, and genders care.
My mom prays for your turnovers, man. It's just
yeah, they need to go down.
Well, when you were, you know, when you're growing up, was there a moment when you felt like it was too much? You know, the work, the pressure, the you know, your parents', you know, expectations and so forth.
There were many times when I felt like I couldn't do it anymore. Or I didn't want to do it anymore. I actually didn't even play AAU basketball my sophomore year in high school. I quit AAU basketball and played badminton instead. So there's a lot of different areas at times when I felt like, you know, this could be the end of the journey for me. And, you know, I almost quit after my freshman year in college. I had a terrible freshman year. I really didn't enjoy it, and I really almost hung it up and just said, you know, I'm going to go get an education and figure out what's next for me.
And you've done that, and there's plenty next, it seems. I mean, you know, obviously you've got a playoff chase now, and a lot of career left in front of you. Are there any particular things that you're aiming at, you know, either personally or obviously athletically, as your next big goals?
Pretty much my only next big goal is to win the NBA championship, and that's going to take, you know, some time if it ever even happens. But that's kind of the dream of every player, is to win the championship. And so, you know, we feel like we have something special in Houston, something that we're building. It'll take time, but we're really young, and we feel like we have the pieces to be able to give us a good chance to possibly do that somewhere down the road.
At least in the next 3 years.
I hope so. I hope so.
Again, it was terrific watching the film, terrific meeting you. I'm looking forward to watching your career as it unfurls. Is there any, sort of one piece of advice you'd give to somebody, a young Asian American kid like, my sons, as far as what this story should tell them?
I guess for my kind of motto in life is just give your best effort unto the Lord and trust Him with all the results. And it's a lot easier said than done. But that's the battle that we need to continue to fight every day. And I feel like, when you do that, nothing can go wrong, even if it doesn't go your way. We don't always see what's best for us right then and there. So, but we have a God who does.
I'm going to ask you one last question, and it's sort of a two-part thing. One is there a particular Asian American individual who you feel was like the most powerful role model for you? And then the second is, do you have a particular favorite Bible verse that you use to kind of just inspire yourself?
Yeah, well, for a role model, I would say like my family, my people around me, my pastors. I really respect them, but in terms of like a role model, like somebody that I didn't know, I would just say Yao Ming in a lot of different ways, how he broke into the NBA and did what he did and inspired a lot of people before, my story. And I have a few favorite Bible verses. I kind of repeat them to me during tough times. And Romans 8:28, Romans 5:3-5, and there's a few other ones but most of them kind of talk about the sovereignty of God and His divine and perfect will and our perspective on life that we should have when we go through the trials of our lives.
Trials indeed, and triumphs.
And triumphs.
Thank you, Jeremy.
I appreciate it.